Introducing Chat and Chew's Healthimonials. Join us in opening the gift of health.
We are so excited to have you here to tell us about your journey.
Hello, hello.
Moving from not eating a lot of plants to eating lots of plants on your plate now. Now, when you started though, you weren't where you wanted to be. So give us a quick synopsis of what you felt needed to be addressed when you started changing your diet.
The first thing that I noticed needed to be addressed was the intake of salt. I needed to implement more natural things. I was eating almost all processed foods, and even where I thought I was eating healthy, again, were processed and a lot of heavy meats and not enough greens and veggies. Nothing that was in a good caloric value, unfortunately, or dietary-wise either.
And I bet there were some symptoms you were starting to experience.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Before I started eating a more plant-based diet, I have had Hashimoto's consistently since I was 12. I was diagnosed at 12. Since I started eating a more plant-based diet and taking care of my health, I have not had to increase my medication for the first time since I was 12. I used to get blood work every 6 months, and up went the dose because the thyroid was struggling to keep up. Last few labs, all good. No high blood pressure, which I was getting. Almost every time I was in the hospital, they would ask me, do you have high blood pressure? And I was kind of against that idea. I'm still so young, there's no way.
Yeah.
But now I see the difference.
Wow.
So that mostly internally, I'm getting a lot of different changes with no high blood pressure anymore, no high cholesterol,
And so you had high cholesterol.
Yep. And fatty liver as well.
And fatty liver.
Yep. They did ultrasounds and let me know, you have fat on your liver, you're so young, you've got to make some changes now.
Can I ask you how old you are?
26. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and you were having all those things already in your young
Since
life.
high school, and at least since my senior year, and my senior year I was 18. So at least at 18, I can remember starting to feel the fatigue coming on. I used to be a sports player in high school. By my senior year, I didn't play sports anymore. I'd gotten to a point where I was just no longer feeling physically fit enough to even go out and do anything.
So it was high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You also
definitely had fatty liver.
And then your thyroid was not working.
Yep, I still take a Synthroid medication every day, but I have not increased my dose, which again, since I was 12, I was getting regular dosage checks. Still, most people level out after a couple years. I was over 10 years of not leveling out, and I've leveled out now. I haven't had to increase it at all since I started, and I've had it checked multiple times.
Good, that's great. And you felt better too.
That's
physically.
the number one thing, is I feel so much better. The aches are the biggest thing. As soon as I started eating a better diet and don't cut into it every now and then with as much bad foods, my joints feel so good. My knees, my ankles, everything that used to just ache and hurt doesn't ache and hurt anymore, which makes everything else so much easier to do.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know, I love it. And I preach it to everyone because it has changed my life.
So you also had a change that you were telling me about, which is when I didn't know this. I talked about how beautiful your skin was, but it didn't used to be beautiful.
No, and I wear almost no makeup now. I don't have any foundation, and no problem with wearing it. I used to love wearing it because it was kind of my way of paleting my face. But I used to have very cystic acne. I tried Accutane, I tried Proactive, I was on all kinds of I tried birth control, whatever could help me keep my face clear since very young. And now I get maybe 1 or 2 spots around, hormone time. Other than that, my skin has cleared up almost all. I don't wear any makeup anymore. I used to not be able to leave the house without putting foundation over everything because I was so self-conscious. But now I just wake up and I don't have to look in the mirror and wonder if there's going to be 5 more spots when I wake up in the morning because my face has just cleared up so much. And I think it's the number one reason is because I'm not as oily and sweaty because I'm eating a lot more plants. And it just, my skin...
You don't have as much oil to pour out.
Yeah, not as much oil coming out, so there's not as much oil clogging the pores, and this face is a lot smoother than it used to be, and I love that. It's an unpredicted side effect that I didn't think about when I started. It wasn't my priority at all. It's something I thought I would live with forever because I've lived with it forever.
Yeah.
But it kind of just happened. So nice clear skin now is a
It's
wonderful side
beautiful
effect.
skin.
Thank you.
So you've all these symptoms have either gone away or they've leveled out to a way where you've been able to maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also lost weight, you told me once.
Over 100 pounds now, around 120 in total.
Oh my God.
I still have a little bit more that I want to work on weight-wise, and then also a lot of toning and muscle building, because when I was overweight, I had pretty much no muscle, and it was all fat. So a lot of what I've lost is fat, and now I'm gaining some muscle in and strengthening my body to continue forward. But everything started with the food, because up until recently, I did very little like working out, and that it was all with the diet.
Yeah. Okay. That's fantastic.
That's how I lost so much without even noticing.
Now,
Because
tell us about your plate. When you added plants to your plate, you said you moved away from the processed foods and started putting whole foods on it.
I started with mostly switching out the dairy. That's the first thing I cut. I cut dairy first just
Okay.
because I have an allergy.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I had to do. And then after that, I started trying to implement more whole grains instead of processed, like breads and things like that.
And what would be an example of a whole grain that you like to
I
eat?
love brown rice. I love quinoa. I love, I was like, is chickpea? I was like, I use those for some protein and for grains, but I use all kinds of stuff now. I still eat white rice. I still been losing weight eating white rice, because white rice at the end of the day is a lot better than anything I was choosing, like French fries, fried French fries.
Yes.
So it's not all about picking the 100% best option every time. It's about picking a better option than you were choosing, which is what I've started to do. And slowly over time, it's made it easier to pick the best options, because that's what I'm craving.
Now, you've worked on your grains, and it sounds like you're doing some beans.
Yep, I eat
What's your favorite bean?
definitely just black beans. I was like, I love red beans, like kidney beans too, but I eat a lot of black beans, and I cook those up, eat them in burritos. I eat them on top of like toast. Beans and toast is such a good thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And it's a weird thing, but I learned about it online. I guess it's something that's popular in the UK and Europe, and they eat it for breakfast. I tried it because I was like, that's a good idea of protein. I eat, if I have like a waffle or toast, I'll put peanut butter on it, some nuts. So
And do you do many vegetables?
everything else is a vegetable pretty much. I eat some fruit, but not as much fruit. I do eat almost all vegetables. Potatoes, peppers, onions, eggplant, tomatoes. I'm just naming the ones I can think are in my fridge right now. Multiple types of peppers. I also have a garden where I grow fresh herbs and vegetables
Oh my goodness,
as well.
you're growing your own garden?
Yeah, I just started peppers. I have peppers in there. I have tomatoes, and I have all like 10 different types of herbs. I pull those fresh for my dinner whenever I can. It's amazing because then I don't have to pay for it. So buy the one plant, and then I get 10. So not everybody can do that, but I have a tiny porch at an apartment, and I just put a couple potted plants out there, and they're providing for me, and
Wow.
it's nice.
Oh, that's so exciting.
And that all started from eating better. And I started eating better. I had an appreciation for plants and growing, and then I went into growing my own, and now I can get a little bit of my diet off of
and you
my...
feel well
just
enough
so
to do
good.
it. Well,
It
how
was
does
just
it
the food.
affect your mental attitude?
Look, I just got chills thinking about it, because if you would have asked me that question like 2 years ago before I started, I was very depressed. Mostly because I went from being able to do anything I wanted to not wanting to leave my house after work because my body hurt so bad. So you don't want to go to the store. You don't want to do the simple things, let alone the fun things. So as your body starts to feel better, even little by little, one trip to the store turns into a weekly trip to the store. Going out to the store makes you realize there's fun stuff out there. You'll see event flyers. I started going out to things happening in the city. I'd talk to people more. I'd go hiking. It was kind of like a snowball effect. You get out a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's easier to get out more and more. And when you feel good, that was the number one thing keeping me sad in general, is that I just felt sad that I could do something and now I can't. But the reality is that I can. I just had to get back to a body that was able to do those things, which at over almost, I believe at one time I was over 300 pounds. I know my highest recorded weight was in the 290s that I recorded. After that, I stopped kind of recording it, because you get to a point where it is upsetting. And then that's where I wasn't recording my weight, lost 50 pounds, didn't even notice. And then I keep going, and then here I am.
Do you mind telling us about what career things you want to do in the future?
I want to continue my education in library science. I'm a librarian. I want to get a master's degree, hopefully eventually a doctorate. All of those things feel so much more like a reality when you're not just exhausted by only your job.
Yes.
So I can go to my job, I can perform better, which I have been. I feel good around my coworkers. It's easy to perform like with the way that's expected and excel. So I am moving hopefully soon to Massachusetts, and there I hope to find another good position and continue in my career and through school. And I love all of it. I was like, I love library science so much I don't even know what to say. I want to keep doing that.
That's fantastic. And this is a goal you told me once that you've had in the past, but now you feel well enough to do something about
I stopped doing my degree. I finished my associates and then never really went back because working was all I could manage. And working was because I had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I went to work, went home, went to sleep. That's all I could do. So going to school, continuing schooling was not an option.
Right.
The energy in me to look for better opportunities in schooling
Just
or
wasn't there.
looking out there just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So a lot of the idea of I can't do these things starts with the head, and the head came with the body starting to feel better.
Yeah.
So if you work on them both simultaneously,
it
it
comes
really helps.
together.
Yeah.
And it all started with
it just plants. I love the plants. Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you so
ma'am.
much, Catherine. What a
Thank
journey.
you. You've helped me a lot.
Oh.
Coming to the programs with Chat and Chew is one of the first things that started me
I'll
in
be darned.
seeing. I had a lettuce wrap and I thought that was the craziest thing. Who puts food on a lettuce wrap? Why not just a wrap? And then I ate it and it was amazing. And I started changing my idea of how vegetables could be implemented.